Hey, welcome to this week's episode of the Human Mosaic Podcast. I'm your host, Ken Floyd, and I am joined with Maury Strozier, and she is the owner and operator of Resilient Minds. So tell me a little bit about yourself and the company.
So, like you said, I'm the owner of Resilient Minds. We've been in business for 6 years. The company was founded in November 2018. And the company was started because I was a contractor doing the same work that I do now.
Okay.
And an opportunity came up. It's called an RFP for community-based services. And so the owner at the time, the place I was working at, I was just like, not to be cocky, but I was like, I feel like I could do this. And not only could I do it, but I feel like I could do it better.
Okay.
And so with no entrepreneurial, experience at that. And so the company is a DCS service agency. We're contracted with the state of Indiana to provide community-based services for families who've been separated due to abuse and neglect. And so we are the fixers who work alongside with DCS and go in and do the parenting education and supervise the visits and teach fathers how to be better fathers in the home. And
Respect that.
yeah,
As a good father, I can tell you we need it.
yeah,
Appreciate that so much.
you're welcome. And then I say we always give tools to parents so they have more tools in their tool belt to pull from. And so we walk them through that process. And if it's reunification, great. But if it's adoption, then we walk them through that process. And so been in business 6 years. This is our recertification year. And so this is the period of time where we reapply for that contract. And so this will be our time to reapply. And so we're waiting on our response right now. But since starting that company, I have expanded it and started adding some more things to the pot. So
Okay.
yeah.
So what got you into that kind of work? How'd you get started?
Oh man. So you want the long version or the short version?
I want whatever version you're gonna tell me. I want the
Oh man. Okay. So
experience to got you into it.
I'll say I've always been in social services, public safety. My background is in corrections
Okay.
and mental health.
Oh,
Yeah. So I started off.
you were in corrections.
I was. Yes.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that. That is wow. Okay.
And that's what brought me to Indianapolis.
Oh, let's start there. Start there. Tell me about how you became a corrections officer.
So after I had my first child, I was working at my college police department, and I was doing dispatch, and I was making like $9.50 an hour.
Okay.
And that was not enough money. And so I was like, what can I do? What can I do? And so my cousin was dating this guy who was a correctional officer in Tennessee.
Okay.
And so I had been watching Lockup. I was in love with the show, and I was just like, I should do this. And so I ended up leaving Illinois, my townhouse on Route 59,
Okay.
which is a very great area to live in Naperville, Illinois.
Okay. I've been in neighborhood.
I left everything, furniture, everything, left and went to Tennessee.
You just dropped everything.
Yep.
Like everything. Do you have,
Everything.
like anything like there for you? You just,
No,
I gotta
I
go.
just left.
Okay. Okay.
I ended up at one of the DOCs for women and got hired on the spot and got sent to their 6-week training.
Okay.
What I did not know when I got there was that there's something called demerits. Okay, so do you know what that is?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, you can get 4, all right?
Oh man.
And so
This remind me of church school when I was a kid.
So I ended up getting 4 demerits, okay, and got kicked out on like the second to last day from graduating. Okay, mind you, I've left everything,
Oh my God.
and these demerits were for like walking on the grass. I got one for leaving my fan on.
Oh, they were hazy.
I forgot my badge, and then I was late to like line up.
Okay.
And I was kicked out. And so that taught me a very important lesson. But I ended up being in Tennessee for about 6 months trying to figure it out, and ended up going back to Illinois.
Okay.
So Illinois, struggling for a while, got to a point where I was like, I need to figure it out.
Did you go back to the same place, or were you?
Yeah, I went back to Naperville. My house was gone, so I ended up moving in with my aunt.
Okay.
And then at the time, my ex family and stuff like that. It was a wild time.
Right. Right.
But I got fed up with myself, and I was like, I'm going to re-enroll in school, and I'm going to find another job in DOC. And so I went out looking for work, and I was between like Idaho, Oklahoma, or Indianapolis.
Okay.
And I was like, Indianapolis would be great because it's, only a few hours from Illinois. And so I came here and I got a job at Marion County Jail 2.
Okay.
And that relaunched my career, in DOC, and it was successful. But that's where my passion really, really started, for men in our correctional facilities, just the darkness that comes with it. And so I felt like I was a light in that dark place. And so that's how I got into corrections. But I ended up going from Marion County Jail 2, and I went to DOC and worked at a place called IRT, which is just for mentally or individuals dealing with mental health disorders.
Okay.
So it's like a prison within a prison.
Right.
And
right.
you see everything. I worked in restrictive housing and medical, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So while you were in the prison and you were working with these men, what were some of the things that immediately you noticed when you were like, what, like these people are here because of a lack of this or a lack of that? What were some of the things you noticed, and how did you? Because I imagine as a corrections officer, you did have to try to connect with inmates, and that's probably a weird line to teeter.
It is.
As a female, it
is.
Yeah, as a woman, like, hey, like most of these guys in the prison, they want you for a certain.
Yeah.
They want to be friends.
So one thing I always did is I looked everybody up. I wanted to know who I was talking to.
Okay. That's smart.
And so you have people that look people up, and then you have people that absolutely do not.
Okay.
And I was somebody, I wanted to know who I was talking to.
Right.
So if I was talking to somebody I knew, like I remember I talked to this guy, and his crime was he had buried his girlfriend in like the backyard. And then this other guy, he
killed her?
Yeah.
Too?
Yeah.
He
killed her. He had hit her in the head with the axe, like in the car, and then in a fit of rage, and then he buried her in the backyard. And then later on, he took her out of the backyard and like put her in this bucket and put her in the lake.
So how was your friendship?
He was kind of weird. So I was just like, yeah, he was kind of off. He was just kind of off. You know what I mean? And it's not, it intrigued me to the point where I was like, let me just see what he's in here for, because I would say for the most part, one, there was a level of disrespect, but it wasn't, it was far and few in between. So once people knew what you stood for, and they knew that you were going to be the same all the time, and you were fair, and you weren't going to be a person that came in and disrupted their entire life, you would be surprised at truly the level of like loyalty. And that's, as you would say, okay, that's interesting, you would use that word. But if I had a problem, I had like a mentor on in each dorm. So I'm in a pod in the middle, and then there's like 24 guys on this side, 24 guys on this side. So I can see both sides, but there's a mentor on each side. And so let's say when we would get locked down or these different things would happen, or there'd be issues in the dorm, I would talk to my mentee in the dorm, and he would fix it for me. But that was the person that I knew they had my back,
right?
And I had theirs, in a sense of, okay, we're locked down. I have the decision to say, okay, well, can this guy come out and heat everybody up water, get everybody ice, take out laundry and all these things. Okay, well, you will have correctional officers who will come in and say, there's absolutely no movement. We're locking down for the entire night.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's like a feeling that you can get of what the tension level is like in the dorms.
Right.
So if I know that people are going to be banging on the doors, they're going to be really upset. They've already been locked down all day because the previous shift didn't let them get out, get ice. What's the harm going to be if you're willing to do it, then go ahead.
Right.
So there's a lot of situations where you just have to think about, okay, I know these people are in here already.
Mm-hmm.
There's one man to a cell.
Yeah.
They're locked down for, let's say, 21 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
It was a maximum security prison.
Mm.
So this is Pendleton behind the wall where I worked at. And so you just learn that these are just people who had a unfortunate situation happen, or whatever lifestyle they were living led them here. But I had a lot of compassion and empathy for those men, because you think about if you were to tell somebody that's in the free world, okay, you're about to get a life sentence.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to their spirit? So you have these men who have created a life, or the best life that they can within this confine. Yes.
Currently.
So when I come into this space, I'm stepping into your house.
I imagine you probably had some people that they wanted to do as much as possible to show you, yes, I'm here, I'm not getting out, but I want to be the best person I'm able to be when I'm in here. So they probably showed you a lot of that favor that you said, wanted to do things that kept you safe.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to be in your favor, because at the end of the day, you were the authority in the moment.
I'm here for 12 hours, so you got to deal with me. And I work a lot. I would work 11 days on, 3 days off.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I was there a lot of time.
Right.
I worked third shift. But I was happy because I knew that they could depend on my shift, and they just knew what they were going to get. I'm not about to come in and mess with you and do a whole lot of extra stuff. I'm not going to let you get away with things.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm just going to do my job while I'm here.
Right.
And that's what they want from you. They know, okay, on shift A, B, and C, I can do all these different things. But when you come in here, and when my captain comes over here, my sergeant comes over here, you guys can't be doing certain things on my shift.
Right.
And so that was just our flow. And I saw a lot of things, I miss it. I miss it, actually. I plan on going back when I get my, when I do my hours for my LMHC. But I just feel like a lot of people, I think a lot of judges and lawyers and members of our legislation and judiciary branches should visit prisons so that they can actually see what they're sentencing people to. And I think a lot more of the stories need to be told, because a lot of the men that go into prison, they do end up getting out. And we have to take a look at, how we're going to reintegrate them into society, because right now, we have 1 in 3 Black men who are going to be in some type of incarcerated situation in their life. And then you have all these issues that are going to stem from them being incarcerated. How are they going to get a job? How are they going to be able to provide for their families? And so if you know that all these people are going to prison, currently our world is just not set up for them to be successful. I don't think, especially if they don't have support systems. But if they do have a support system, like they already have, I would say, sponsored you while you've been in prison if you didn't have money. It's very expensive. And then they also have to help you when you get out. So it's just a lot of stress on families.
Oh, you know what? While we're there, you talked about support system and how they build a support system for these men as they're in prison and things like that. What do you think are some of the biggest factors that contribute to them being in that place in the first time when it comes to a support system?
I mean, poverty. That's the most, people don't break the, I don't believe that people are just bad people. People do what they have to do to survive. And in our communities, you see a lot of people clinging to lifestyles that they wouldn't normally cling to if they had a better choice.
Yes.
So if I see my uncle who sells drugs or steals or whatever he does, whatever his hustle is, and I see, okay, well, if I go with him, I can get some money and I can feed myself because there's no one else looking out for me and my siblings.
Right.
That's what I'm going to do. It's not because I just want to do that, but I'm also looking up to this person who's providing me a way out.
Right.
And so you see that happen with women. I mean, you could say prostitution. You know, if I know that I can sell my body and make money, I mean, that's all I have.
It's crazy you say that.
What am I going to do?
We were just having this discussion the other day, and it was one of those situations where we were talking about, what was it, OnlyFans out there, and how the discussion for OnlyFans originally was so that it was supposed to make it safer for the porn community and all this other stuff, right? But then you take it where you're now making PG content, where it's you have these porn stars that are not doing cooking shows and things like that, which opens the gateway for kids, for instance, or anybody that's watching. Oh, they make adult content too. So now that I know about this person, I can now look it up. Because they just find ways to get right in front, which is really wild.
Yeah.
Just really, really wild to even stop and things that thing. And I feel like the majority of social media at this point is basically
We're there.
porn.
Absolutely.
That's all it is. Like,
if you
can't
look
look
at
anything without seeing it.
If you look at, you can watch a Megan Thee Stallion Cardi B video. That's soft porn. It's a way to desensitize our society.
Cancel you.
What did you say?
Cancel you.
Oh, they can cancel me. God not gonna cancel me. That's all. The only person I don't need to cancel me.
I absolutely hate the fact that, and again, I understand everybody has their own thing. I understand everybody's going to be whatever they want. But I feel like the absolute worst of what we have to offer is always promoted as the best thing possible. And like, I understand we have great feel-good music you go out and party to, music you go out and do whatever, right? But when we look at the current generation of young women that are coming out, and I look at Sexy Red as like one of the most listened to things for this generation. And I mentor kids. I've always mentored kids. I've sent, I don't know how many boys like right there through high school, and I've watched them graduate. These boys talk to me on a regular basis. Everything is a great moment. It makes me feel old as shit too, if I can be totally honest. The fact that I've done this for so long. But I truly appreciate the kids that see that and they try to work for better. One of the things that I talked to these boys about that they've all said was that it was very hard to date right now. They're like, it's not like it was when you were younger, Mr. Ken. You don't get to, it's the girls are not the same. They only want this or they want that, or I don't make enough to like date this one girl. And I was just like, how have these morals or these like qualifications to be someone that is dateable come so far down the pipeline of just being shallow? You have to have this. Like, I can't even say hi to you if I don't make this much money, is what these boys are giving.
Yeah.
And the worst part was when one of them came to me and he was like, I come from a traditional family. I've learned so much from you as far as like how to treat a woman, because like, I taught these boys about everything from how to treat women, how to have a deeper understanding, more so around the emotional intelligence side. Because I feel like if a person doesn't have emotional intelligence, there's not very many places you're going to be able to get to in life, because that's always going to be a speed bump that you run into whenever you're trying to deal with any situation. So a lot of them have all said, and this one in particular, I don't have the intelligence to be able to deal with someone that is so bad morally. And I was like, to say that at like 21, 22, I can't deal with somebody that's that immoral because these are their values and these are my values. That's a hard pill to swallow. And I feel like a lot of times, again, we are presented with the worst of what we have to offer, and that is shown as the best thing that's out there. And so we deal with situations where a lot of young women are, yeah, I'm gonna be like Sexy Red. Yeah, I'm gonna be like Cardi B. Yeah, I'm gonna be like Megan Thee Stallion. And then you got the guys, hey, little baby, F them hoes, all of that, like little Dirt, all that. It's a culture where I don't feel on average that the majority of young people now are taught that there are so many different things that you have to actually look for in life. It's not all about the hookups. It's not all about the going out. It's not about flashing. It's not about any of that. Like, they don't know the meaning of his family.
They don't have.
They're like that because they haven't had a family to raise them.
I think that there's so many things we could talk about in regard to this, but
Yeah.
I think at the foundation is we've moved away from what's morally right
Yes.
as a whole. So we're not going to church anymore. We're not praying anymore. We're not having Bible study anymore. And so when you have a generation after generation that has not been exposed to God,
Yeah.
the glitz and glamour look really good.
They do.
And so, well, I'm just looking at what I can get. And so you have a lot of people just looking at, okay, I want that.
Right.
But who are you actually at your core? If you don't have integrity, if you don't have any morals, if you're willing to do anything, what they used to say, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything.
Exactly.
And that's what you have right now. You don't have people who are saying, I want to be a good woman. It's, I'm going to be this so I can get that.
Yes.
And that's not how, I don't believe that's how God intended it to be. He didn't put us here to, just be out here trying to accumulate things or get a mate so that you can have somebody pay your bills.
Yes.
You have women out here who will date just so that they can go on a trip or so they can get flued out. I mean, or get a meal, and they're not even connecting with somebody. They're just looking for what they can get. So then you have men who are on the other side saying, okay, well, if this is all women want, then that's who I'm going to try to be. I'd rather have a hardworking, God-fearing, blue-collar man than have a man who makes a lot of money and has no integrity.
I know you had asked me what I was wearing, so I wanted you to go ahead and talk about that. Pick up these fragrances so we could take a sniff rating.
Oh, okay.
So yes, while we're at a break, we're gonna go ahead and talk about our sponsor, or one of our sponsors. It's Nostalgia Fragrances. We have a few of them here. My favorite two, of course, is Rain and the Twelve Noir. I butchered that the first episode. I don't want to hear it. Y'all can comment about it and make for a good comment section. But still, I think I called it like Black Corn or something. I think it was Elotes Noir or something like that. And he was like, he almost filleted me. Let's just talk about it. He was like, listen, bro,
brand.
I love you to death. And like, you do so well talking about the brand. And like, we love sponsoring you. But it's not called Black Corn. It's called.
What made you think it was called that?
12 Noir. Listen, okay, I'll be full transparency.
Okay.
I might have did a half-ass read, and I just the first couple of letters.
Got it.
And I did this with a really good friend of mine too. I butchered his last name. It's actually Sanchez, and I pronounced it as Sanchez the first time I saw it because I just looked at like the first 3 or 4 letters. Like, yeah. Well, you like that one, don't you?
Okay, so I would say.
Which one you think I'm wearing right now?
Probably this one because this has the least amount.
Okay, that's a little obvious. Yeah.
It's rain. You just told me. Okay, so rain first. Okay, so this smells. Okay, so I smelt it in the bottle and like the actual scent on on your skin because it
You
changes.
smelled it on me. It's okay. It's okay to say you smelled it on.
Okay, I smelled it on you, and it does smell really good. This is very fresh, very light, out of the shower. Kind of gives you that like not Axe. I won't say Axe, but more of a.
Yeah,
But you,
say that.
but like that, like the sprays kind of
Uh-huh.
that men use.
Yeah.
But this is definitely like a lot better. It's just I don't know, it doesn't smell like soap, but it smells just like you could get licked. Smell like that. Okay.
Oh.
Let's just say that.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
then this one would probably be the one I would say. All right, that one's 4. My favorite
that one
is
just smelled like I looked, and I didn't understand it at first until this lady told me it smelled like chocolate, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna accept that as a compliment, and I'm just gonna keep it moving.
yeah.
It's
This
like,
is
I like you just told me that.
okay. Which one was my favorite one?
Is it the one that you said was number 4? Is that your favorite? Yeah. At 12 nowhere. I'm telling you. Hey, it's like crypto.
Okay, I really do like that one.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And then later it was
Okay, this one is my favorite. I think this is the SS.
SS is hot. SS is hot. People
I like SS and I like La Home. Is that how you say it?
La Home is also another.
Okay.
Is another.
La Home is kind of like my favorite. I think La Home is my favorite.
Okay.
SS is second. Rain is third.
I'm gonna need you to swap at least SS and Rain. Come on, Rain gotta come at number 2. Really?
And Rare is last.
So what do you
And I'm doing it from a woman's perspective. Like if I was a man, I would probably say Rain was my favorite. But the La Home smells the most like unisex to me.
Okay.
It smells like just freshness.
Let me sniff La Home again. Am I not giving it its fair shake? I like it.
Yeah. It smells good on me.
I didn't realize you sprayed some of this.
Yeah. Like you have to smell my wrist. 'Cause
Let me see.
it smells really good on me.
Let me see. I give it to you. I think La Home might be one of the men scents too, though.
I feel like it smells good on my skin. So that's my take. But I like the way that they go on. They're not dry and like have that alcohol feel.
Okay.
They're oily. So
Okay.
you definitely want to put it on. Probably like you have a silk shirt on, put it on before you get dressed.
Yes, this gonna last all day. You spray these on,
Yeah.
you wake up the next morning, you don't smell like, unless you do a real good scrub at night to get it.
Yeah. And is this the only product that he makes is the oils or the
Yes, these fragrances here, only ones that he made. Oh no, he has more. So
There's more.
The
Say-
website is
Okay.
nostalgiaforyou.com. See how I make that plug
Yes.
right? So go to nostalgiaforyou.com, and he has, I want to say there are like 7 or 8 different scents. I could be off on that. And there's a new one he just dropped.
Okay.
Ooh, this new one. Look,
Does he do a sample pack?
none of y'all got it yet, but I got it on the way in the mail, and I can't wait to take it.
Mm.
He does.
Does he have a sample pack? I would definitely recommend getting the sample pack because since they're oil based, they're probably going to smell just a little different on each person. But no, and you can layer them. So I put on 2. And I would say I will definitely be purchasing Nostalgia. And it's
Yes.
oh, and it's
Yes, he
platinum.
is.
So yeah, you gotta support it. Yeah.
He's a great guy. Like, but besides all that, like he's a very genuine person, which is why I had no issues whatsoever picking
Yeah.
or letting him become like one of our main title sponsor. Like, he is. If you take someone that truly cares about a product, like most of my clients, when they discuss what I provide for them and what my company provides for them as far as the work that we give, no one that receives it will say anything other than, well, a whole lot of other things, but they'll say like, no, they took care of us. We could tell that that they care about the product that they produce. They care about what people think of it. The biggest thing above all is your perception of what they are.
Yeah.
And that's how he is. Everything that comes out, he has a say so in it. There's no generic posting. There's no generic marketing of a sense. And I will go ahead and plug myself. I might be his marketing company too, but yeah. But it's one of those things where so he told me a little bit about the process, about how he learned to do this. It was a very strenuous process. This was not a short thing,
Yeah.
He learned from this company. It was, I believe he said it was 3 brothers that started the company. Their perfumes and fragrances, they sell for like $400 or $500. Wow. And he went through a essentially school to learn how to make fragrances from it.
Wow.
And to make high quality fragrances, not these things that are cut
Right.
with alcohol or anything else.
That's the thing.
All just high quality.
I would definitely buy these for myself and as gifts. Very nice.
So now we've talked about the fragrances. Let's kind of circle back to there was a part where you had mentioned, what was that what you had mentioned? There was a part where we were mentioning what these men, or we were discussing what these men needed on a base level to kind of not be in the situation they're in right now. We were talking about like things at home, support systems, things like that. And one of the conversations that I have with a lot of people, and it gets very convoluted when feelings get involved, because they take it from the standpoint of, you're saying that men are this, men are that, men are the end all be all. And it's not one of those situations at all. In fact, the majority of the time when I'm talking about these situations, it's a cohesive thing. I think women fail to realize how much men actually do need them. And when men tell them the things that we do need them for, it's taken as, oh, you're trying to control me, or you just want me to do this, you just want me to do that. And so we spoke about the need for, if you have children, the need for a nuclear home, meaning the need for a mother and a father. And it doesn't always end up being like a mother and a father that had kids together.
Right.
A lot of times you have stepfathers or stepmothers for that situation.
For sure.
That do so much to make those kids' homes completely nirvana, basically. It's like the best place.
The best of both worlds, a blended family.
Right. And so one of the things that we spoke about was the need to have 2 parents in the household.
Yeah.
And we had discussed how statistically it showed how if you have a household with 2 parents, the children were much, much higher. I think it was like a 80-something% like success rate of going on to be great children. And then you have households where there's a single father, and surprisingly, it's not very different than a dual parent household. And then you look at a single mother household, and then you say, oh my God, it's a very big difference. Like, these kids are, and that's not every single mother, because I 100% know some single moms that have raised some exceptional young men and young women, but it's not always the case. And so it's not anything to knock women or anything, but there's a very distinct thing that's shown there. And I think it was the study showed that if a father's not in the household, a child hears almost 60,000 less words. And that's a very big thing when it comes to the development of a child, especially their vocabulary, their eagerness to want to speak to somebody, to be like, I can remember growing up and not having a lot of those things that a father should have provided. And I was afraid to speak in front of people for a very long time. I was afraid to go into circles where there were predominantly white people, because I was raised under this narrative of, hey, because you're always going to have less. Because it's going to be harder for you. Because they're not going to accept you. And so that was a very hard thing for me. And so I can remember growing up and being one of those guys that was very emotional when it came to dealing with things. I argued with girls or women at the time like a lot, and it was because I didn't have the male figure to teach me how to manage my emotions, to teach me that, hey, if you're frustrated, go direct that into other things, hit the gym, get it out, talk to your friends, go do sports, do something to help you like channel that. Because as men, again, there's things that we're held to accountability in society. Like, yes, we should feel emotions. Yes, we should act the way that is best for us. But raging and consistent arguing and yelling back and forth, and a lot of men, like, they will speak to women as if they're speaking to another man, and there's a whole nother thing that goes with that, because there's a lot of women that just don't understand how to talk to me, because I'll say from my own personal preference and experience, I'm a man that will go above and beyond for you. Like, if I got you, there ain't nothing that I'm not gonna do for you. Like, if you mine, you gonna know it.
Yeah.
The world gonna know it, and they're gonna see my works. They're gonna see what I do for you, and they're gonna see how I do things to make sure that we thrive. But there's a point that I think every man reaches at some point. Because when we're young, yes, the go chase some things seems somewhat fun. The little bit of attitude is something where we're like, yeah, I can take it. It's cute. It's cute. Come on with it. Give it to me. But also, there's a part of us that needs that. There's a part of us that needs that loving, that nurturing, that caring side, because we have to go and deal with the world. We have to do a lot of things that women won't have to do if they are in a position where they have a man that is in their life. So the providing, the building, the prosperity for the family, the like growing relationships, making sure we're extending our wealth and things like that. There's a lot of struggles and stresses and fights that a man will have to go through that we will do everything to make sure you never feel it. Like, if you guys feel something, that's because it got past our shoulders and you were able to take it. And it's like, hey, I'm sorry I hit you. Let's figure it out, but you have no idea. And I promise I'm trying to make it so you continue to have no idea. And it's hard when you have a woman that will be that force, in a sense. It's like, yeah, they're going to fight with you. They're going to argue with you. They're going to talk to you the way like the other men would. And then when you react that way, like, if you come at me like a man, I'm gonna do as much as possible to not come back at you like one. But I think every man has had that situation where a woman has pushed and pushed, because you guys know that you can get so far, and I think men are the only ones that aren't loved necessarily unconditional. Women, I think, are more so than not given the same unconditional love as children. If you truly meet a man, if you truly have a man that cares about you and like is willing to make sure they do everything to benefit you and him and your family and to make sure that you're good, there's not a single thing in this world that I'm going to do for you. You'll never have to work unless you want to work. You'll never have to go and want for something unless it's truly something that you just say, hey, baby, I just want to do what I'm on. Like, we'll do that, and we'll support you, and we'll make sure you have every single tool at your disposal to make sure that you can do that the right way. And I hate that. I dislike that we're in a position where I don't feel enough young men are able to exhibit that to women. And it's on both sides, because you don't just have bad women, you don't just have bad men. You have some of these very good women that can't find good guys. And in turn, they're stuck with some of the bad ones that continue to push them down these rabbit holes where they can't be anything for anybody. And then you got a guy that's been screwed over by so many just as well. And then he's like, well, screw it. And then you got the bad ones. You got the women that want it to be that way. And then you got the men that want it to be that way. I just want multiple. Like, I heard about this book, right? And I called myself going down reading it. And
Our culture is pretty much based on what the other person can do for you.
yes, it is. Yeah, and
Women have it bad.
And here's the thing. I don't think that it's a problem for people to get in a relationship based off of what the other person can do with it for them. And that sounds strange when you hear it at first. But when I say that, so like, for instance, my circle of people, everybody in my circle is there because they all serve a purpose. We all uplift each other. Like my friends that are business owners, I can't even begin to describe how much my business has grown because of the knowledge that I've gained from my other friends that are well beyond what I'm doing. But I'm their friend. We're brothers. We're close. And their whole thing is, how do I help and push my brother to the point that he wants to be at, while also still maintaining our friendship. So it's always a thing of like, I want us to always be good. So in a relationship, for instance, say like you meet somebody and you guys start dating. There's a few things that you got to figure out in a way. Like, does this person make me happy? Yes, that's a given. Does this person annoy me? Maybe so. And there's certain things that people do, you ain't never going to get over that. That little thing right there is going to sit and fester and become a thing. But you're like, oh man, they're beautiful though. I'm just going to take it. I'm gonna let them do what they got to do because I need to be there. But when that happens, you end up getting to this spot where you can't deal with that. So then, again, there's you have to be able to get along with them. They have to make you happy. For me, there's got to be a sense of humor. Like, you've got to have some kind of personality. But furthermore, it has to be a place where I know that this person is going to do as much to instill into me to make me be a better version of myself, so that I can be the version that I need to be in order to make us be okay. So this was an excellent conversation. I know we're running short on our time and whatnot now, but I got a feeling this is going to be a conversation you're going to have to come back for, because I know we were supposed to talk about business and everything else, but we went down some very, very good relationship rabbit holes and just like society standards and what we feel should be changed and just the state of things, especially for the younger generation. And I feel like that's probably our biggest thing as, we're not old, but the older generation.
We're millennials.
Yeah, the millennials.
Yeah.
I feel like it's on us to share these experiences, because it's a lot of people don't realize our generation definitely did raise ourselves.
Yeah, and we're like the last OGs.
Yeah.
Like there's no generation like us.
None.
No, we're very unique.
Yes, absolutely. And your social media, your Instagram and everything.
Oh, so Instagram is Really Maury.
Okay.
REALLY.
Really Maury.
MOREY.
Be testing.
Right, exactly. And then my Facebook is just my first and last name, so MOREY.
Okay.
Last name is STROZ as in zebra, IER.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. No, I really appreciate this conversation today.
This is amazing.
I think this is gonna go down as one of my much better ones, because again, like we know we got this whole delusional thing on all sides, and to be able to see someone, especially a woman, let's just go ahead and say it, like to see a man and a woman be able to have a conversation where we come to a common ground, and it's like, you know what, I see those same flaws in society that you see.
Yeah.
It means a lot, because I think people need to see more of that.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that. Like, for me, I know it's very heartwarming when people come to me and tell me things like, I appreciate that you're doing this from a man's perspective, because we don't talk about these things as men. And it's something that we definitely need to talk about. But yeah, I'm gonna table some of this, because I got a lot more content I think you will do later on. So for sure.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.
I
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you guys again for tuning in for this week's episode of the Human Mosaic Podcast. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Go ahead and leave comments down at the bottom. Go ahead and talk to your friends, tag them in the video. Please share it and like it. If you don't like the video but you watched it, I'm not going to get the pushes and the algorithms and the shares and everything else that I need. So do that for me. Support me like the person that you don't know. And if you don't know me, thank you. All right.
Awesome.
I'll see you.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see.
This is good.
Yeah.